everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Home Service Heartbeat Podcast. And I'm Joe Crisera. And today I'm excited to be joined by Bill Frey, who is from Illuminating Design, who creates year-round lighting solutions that elevate curb appeal, improve safety, and make every residential or commercial property shine for the Atlanta, Georgia community and the surrounding areas. Bill, thank you so much for joining us today. We're thrilled to have you on the show.
Hey, Joe, thanks for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Bill, why don't you start by sharing a little bit about how you got started in the service industry and what led you to be the leader in your role as the owner of Illuminating Design?
Well, honestly, I kind of fell into it by accident, which was a crazy story. I graduated, got a master's degree in marketing, and was going to go out and change the world and start my own business, and didn't know where to go with it yet. And then was trying to find a job, and nobody wanted to hire me. So I decided I went and took a job aerating yards. And the gentleman that I was working for owned a national Christmas franchise, and had somebody that wound up not working out for him shortly before the season started. Gave me an opportunity to come in and take the lead for his business for him at a young age. And I learned a lot, and I saw a lot about the industry that I liked. And I saw a number of things that I wasn't super keen on that I thought could be better. And this was back in the early 2000s when there weren't a ton of holiday lighting companies out there. So that's really how I got the start. I just kind of fell backwards into it, saw an opportunity and took it.
Sometimes I say when we find the passion that we have in our life, that it's a calling and it finds you. You don't have to find it. It will find you eventually. So it sounds like your higher power somehow drove you to a place that you enjoy doing it. Is this a job you enjoy doing? Are you passionate about it, Bill?
Love it. Love it. You know, I from a young age, I started going to a lot of concerts and watching music concerts and seeing the lighting. I was always enthralled with it. Never really thought, because I don't come from a lighting background. I come from a business and a marketing background, but fell into something that was just parallel with things that I loved in my life. So it worked out very, very well, and it just kind of serendipitous in that.
Yeah, I think it is. It's something like the stage lighting at a concert or whatever. It's like it really can make the scene and just create an aura that leaves an emotional imprint on us, right? So tell us about
100%.
The biggest challenge that you faced while you were growing this company, and how did you overcome the challenges that you had as you're growing this thing? Kind of fell into it, but you didn't just leave it there where you found it. You tried to build it better, right?
Right, 100%. I found opportunity. I took opportunities, and the biggest thing that I had to learn was, you always hear the adage of if you're going to grow your business, you need to stop working in your business and you need to work on your business. Well, as a young entrepreneur, I didn't really know what that meant. It's like I'm working on my business, I'm working in my business, I'm doing all the things. Mm-hmm. But it really, once I figured out that I have my process and my way of doing things that I like to do, and I think it creates great results. And it's really being able to kind of replicate that. Set your standard processes, standard procedures, and understand your flow. So you can keep things mentally organized, and then as you're building your team up, you can teach them the step-by-step process. If you're not teaching the exact same process, you're going to have differentiating results. And that's really the biggest thing I learned was how to work on the business, what it was that we needed to work on, what were the important parts, and getting the nuts and bolts in the process set out straight. So every customer experience from the first time they call till well after you're done, finish with the service and the repeated service and the follow-ups. And that process is done the same way. So it's a complete same system every single time they come to you.
It's like every service business has the thing where once you complete the service, there's like a thrill you get, right? Like I get the thrill when I was in heating air conditioning of like, I'm turning that thing on and I'm like, there it is, air conditioned air. It's like,
right.
It feels like cool, dehumidified, and like we did it. And it's like, what do you call it? That uptick of the endorphins or whatever in my body that I feel that thrill. How about you? When you found the business like it was, what kind of changes did you make, and what kind of strategies did you employ that you'd like your community to know? And key things you've done to grow this business to make Illuminating Design something special and not something where you're just running conductors and lights in the backyard. The design of it and everything like that.
Yeah, 100%. I worked for the other gentleman and then went off and started my own. So that's how Illuminating Design came about, was a year after I worked for that other company. But what I saw was an opportunity to take care of the customers a little bit better, to provide better upfront pricing, to give them the guarantees of quality. Because at that point in time, nobody really was thinking about holiday lights as a business. We were still in incandescent days. It wasn't as easy as the LEDs. So there was a lot behind it. So really the customer experience is the thing that we changed. And we've continued to adapt as we're working through. and getting with modern technology and things, as we try to adapt and stay on the top in the front edge of technology to ensure our customer experience is a nice, seamless process. Ever since COVID, a lot of times people don't necessarily want somebody coming to their house. So they're a little uncomfortable. You had a little less human interaction. We find ways that we're able to do basically like Loom videos or record videos of the overall interpretation of what our lighting process is going to be and go over the quotes that way. A single person at the house, and they don't feel threatened by somebody coming to their house maybe later at night because it's nighttime, you're working with lights, and allows them to really kind of review what we do on their time. A lot of companies are going to force both decision makers to be there, so you can, and kind of force your message across to them. And how do you feel you're not being sold to at that point? Well, the first requirement I have is both decision makers be on the site. We want input from everybody, but we provide a video and allow them to work on it on their own time so they can look and get all the key points. So you're not asking the husband or the wife to defer part of that information to them. So, looking on some of those efficiencies that we work on using technology really help. And it's hard to be a guide and to really feel non-salesy if you're forcing these things to happen and forcing it to be done in your time. It takes away from the relationship you're really trying to build.
So it sounds like putting the customer first, looking at the opportunity through their eyes and making it, hey, why are we making this so hard to do business? Why don't we just be able to show them the vision of what this is going to look like so they can desire it and want it if they were to see it and to imagine it? Does that sound accurate?
100%. And we understand not everybody's our customer. Some people may take those designs and shop them around, and we pride ourselves on the value we provide. You're not just buying from us from today, you're buying from us for the next 10 years or 15 years. We're going to be the company that's there with you through the entire process. So you may find somebody that's $1 or $2 cheaper, but are they going to be around in a year? Are they going to be around in 5 years? They give you a lifetime warranty, but that's only good until they're in business. If they're out of business, it doesn't help anything. So we work with our maintenance plans and set up lifetime maintenance with our customers, and we really make it customer centric. I try to think about everybody if they were my grandmother. How are we going to take care of? You're always going to take care of your grandma. And that's the way we kind of look at it. And that's what I tell my guys. I'm like, if this was a grandma's property, would you be happy with how we left it today? Or would you not?
Well, Bill, it sounds inspiring, honestly. And let me ask you a question, though, Bill. Was there a key moment where when you start putting this change, it had to be scary, like I'm going to take it from here. I'm going to try something new, and I'm going to focus on customers, helping them imagine the solution so they can easily just say, yeah, that's the one I want, to make the choice they want there. Was there a key moment where you realized that this strategy was getting a foothold and it was actually you're onto something here? What was a key moment or a story you can tell about somebody who said, "Now, Bill, this is way better than everybody else is doing"?
It's funny. I talk to people, and and I talk to the husbands, and I'll talk to the wives, or I'll talk to any of the homeowners really, and they'll tell me, they'll just kind of look and say, this is, why are you doing it this way? Because we're making it about you. And a lot of people don't understand, and they're asking questions. Hey, they're interested in this, and they're starting to get okay, they do things a little bit differently. And that's really where we try to set ourselves apart, is by doing them a little bit differently and doing things the way that we think it should be done, not necessarily the way it's always been done. So we're talking to the client, and I remember one lady was just thrilled for it. And she's like, I don't even need you to come out to, I'm already sold. She's like, I see your process is doing things differently. I see that you're already taking into account my feelings and what I'm looking for, and I'm already sold. And I'm like, we may be onto something here. I think this is a good process. People are liking it. They're enjoying it. And we haven't gotten much kickback on it. It's scary to do it differently every now and then. And you're taking a risk because a lot of times they're like, you need to sit down at their kitchen table. You have to do those things. But we started closing sales, and the best part is it's middle of the night. We're getting sales closing at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So our work is still working for us. We've done the work already. You watch the number of videos, the times the videos are being watched, so you see it's being used. And whether or not they tell you, you're watching the metrics change. And it's really, really an inspiring moment.
Working around the customer's lifestyle and schedule. What a novel concept, Bill. You got to definitely... Yeah. Definitely, I think you are onto something there.
Right? Because think about youth sports. All the kids in youth sports now, or all the kids that are out. I couldn't tell you when my kids were growing up and younger, there wasn't any day of the week that my family wasn't all together by 9:30 at night. It was later at night because you have one child at practice. One of the parents are taking the child to the practice. Then other kids over here. It's divide and conquer. Half the time you're barely together.
Now, Bill, I know you have a team, right? It's not, you can't just do this all on your. You can't develop a thing like Illuminating Design on your own. How do you approach building and leading a high performance team that does exquisite customer service like Illuminating Design does?
Intentionally, very, very intentionally. and it takes a lot of time. The first thing we look for is the culture fit. We want to make sure that they have the right mindset. There's a lot of things you can teach and train. Attitude, performance, desire to please are not those. So that's what you have to hire for. We can train you for anything else. We have the eye for design. I can teach you light layouts, how to stage lights, how to do those things. I can't teach effort. I can't teach your attitude or how you're going to show up for work. Those are things that I can't control. So we hire for the right people that have the right fit personality, have the right fit with the effort they're going to put in, with the culture, their desire to please people. You have to have a customer mindset first, and we'll train everything else. So it's a slow and deliberate process, and it's a continual training. If we're running a company and we're not doing weekly training, we're falling behind, because the consistency and timing of the training creates results that are repeatable. If you're not training, you're going to eventually wind up with mismatched standards, where it's you have to continually allow the people on our team to know what the expectations are, where we're going to be good, and what that final 10% is. I always say anybody can do 90% of our job. It's that final 10% that makes all the difference. That's going to make the memories.
Let's talk about the if I was an employee looking for work at your place or looking to join a team like you, what kind of qualities would I need to have, or how would I know if I would fit into your culture when you're hiring talent? How would you know if your job called to them? What kind of qualities would they need to have if I was going to join a team like yours?
Attention to detail is a big one. There's a lot of things that could fall short. If you're talking about lighting and you have a light that's 3 inches closer to a wall than another light, you're going to have missed space. You have to understand the overall vision. You have to be able to see past the products and understand the why. To have empathy into your clients, have empathy into the team, understand the why of what you're doing, and why it's important to not only the team that you're participating on, why that's important, why it's important to the company, and why it's important to the client. We work under a 3-win philosophy that every interaction that we have, the client has to win, the company has to win, and the employees have to win. If we can triangulate those 3 things, you're going to be fantastic, and it's going to be a success every single time.
So Bill, tell us about the service experience that a client of yours would have. I mean, I know that with lighting, it does bring up a really great opportunity to kind of do a reveal in a way, like here is what your yard was like before, and now boom, turn those lights on.
You have your hero moment.
There's that kind of like that moment where it's like, ooh, do you experience that with clients? Did I get that
all the time? And it's that's one of the biggest reasons I do it, is that smile on the face, and it's fun. We'll do some large holiday shows or larger shows, and I'll kind of walk on my own time off work and just kind of listen and stand back and listen to the comments. And that's always the greatest thing. You watch grown adults turn into little children in their eyes, and you watch little children just be wowed by what they're seeing out there. But yeah, from the first interaction, our office team is fantastic. Take care of the customers from moment one, and step by step, we just walk you through the process. At the end of the first step, we're going to tell you what's happening in the next step. Then you get to the next step, we're going to tell you what's happening after that. You know exactly along the entire process where you stand. We let you know that the guidelines and kind of the timing of it all. It's where or how long we're booked out. So, your installation may be 2 to 3 weeks out from the time you sign your paperwork. We're going to come back and we make a pre-call at that point to go over all the job. We walk the property with the customer. By the end, we come out and do our nighttime adjustments. We'll walk the property again with the customer, ensure it's all there. Give them their customer gift, to have the hero moment where they're smiling with the customer gift in front of their lights. They get that moment of joy. They get that moment where we've guided them from having a problem through all the way to their solution, and they've become the hero now.
That's awesome. I love a business like that where it can show like this paradigm shift about the way they see their own house. Like they see their house as something now, a special place to be, not just the backyard where we store our junk or whatever out there.
That's the greatest thing that I do, is I get to bring people together, whether it's at a municipal, where we're doing a town, like a city lighting for their holiday tree, whether we're doing a large park where people gather over the summertime, or for their 4th of July festivals, any of those things. I have the privilege of being able to bring people together, and those are great moments. We're the backdrop of everybody's memories.
Let's talk about the balance between, because I think what a lot of bad customer service starts out with, which is the trying to be so efficient inside the business that we do lose track of people, right? And there are some people who don't necessarily want as much interaction. They may want to, let me just look at this and buy it. Like you mentioned that before. But a lot of people are like, well, let me see who I'm inviting in my home. Like done a fair amount of work from Alpharetta down to Peachtree, Georgia myself. And I've been down there quite a few, probably about 50 weeks I've spent in that area. Probably years worth of time, I probably would say, of my career. So I've been there a lot. And I know there's some clients who don't want to have bother with it. And some people are like, yeah, come on in, let's have a cup of coffee or whatever. How do you balance the efficiency of the work process with the balance of the relationship you're creating with your community and your client? Is there a balance, or do you say that, hey, just take as much time as you need with our clients? We don't care. Tell us about that.
We take our time. Obviously you want to be efficient. You don't want to spend wasted time. But we do a lot through some automation, through email campaigns and things like that, allowing them to build trust. And some people aren't really ready to make a decision. So once you understand the true customer's why, you'll understand their path, their sales path, and how you guide them down the line. They may be looking for future things. It's up to us to figure out what their why is, what's their motivation behind asking for lighting, and how it can improve their life. Maybe their child's going to college and they're going to come home and there's limited hours they have to spend around. Do you want your college kid hanging out with their friends at your house where you get to see them more, or do you want them hanging out at somebody else's house or going out to the park or something? So if you can have entertaining and fun type of lighting, you get to keep the people there at your house. That's another why. So you find the why and the motivation, and sometimes it may not be immediate. They may be 6 months down the line, but we'll talk to them, we'll get them the information, and then we'll continue to send emails. They'll get our newsletter, be part of our blogs, and we'll just keep providing information to them as long as they want. We're here to be a resource to our community as far as lighting goes, whether you use our services or not.
Man, you're making me want to come down to Atlanta and join your team. It sounds like a great place to work.
Love to have you, Joe. Love to have you.
Bill, what trends? This is gonna be a fun question. I hope you like this one. This is gonna be a fun one. Which is, I want you to imagine and dream a little bit about the trends that are shaping the future of outdoor home and building illumination for commercial and residential properties. And what do you see happening in the future with this kind of a service? And how are you preparing for some of those changes, Bill?
You're watching a lot more tech come in across the board, whether it be permanent trim lights, whether it be your landscape lighting, we work with a system now that has a game day programming, so your team scores, your lights will go crazy and dance for you. You talk about sound. Adding complete outdoor entertainment at that point. There's a number of different things that are coming on, but for us right now, we're allowing the manufacturers to do all the work on the light side and everything like that. But for inside of our business, it's really AI and how we can use AI to effectively send their message and help sell the vision of what we're doing, whether that be through the design renders that we're putting together and how we're manipulating, working through different AI strategies, whether it be through drip campaigns to make information known so they understand all of our social proof. Like, we've been in business for over 20 years. We've installed over 3 million lights. All those things that make you feel comfortable with our reviews being automated through there. Those are really the best ways, and it allows us to give more information and be better guides in the end to our clients and to the community around us.
Well, Bill, this might be an obvious question, and who knows, maybe you've already answered it, but I'm going to ask you this. Look inside your heart and tell us what keeps you motivated in your industry, in this outdoor illumination industry, and what part of this work really matters the most to you?
Oh, Joe, it's the smiles on the face at the end of the day. You can be out there working in the rain, working through 110-degree weather, but you watch people light up, and you watch grown professionals, whether they be athletes, whether they be CEOs of major Fortune 500 companies, whether they work just a regular job like me, and go out there, but you get to see them all transition into children for a moment, just to see the sparkle in their eye, to see them light up and be like, wow. That is, we talked about a vision beforehand and you guys executed. Watching, it's that moment. There's an endorphin rush. There is a rush when you have that moment and you watch those things happen. It's wonderful. That feeling, and just knowing I have been part, and my company has been part, my team's been part of bringing communities together. Those Thanksgiving night tree lightings, when they turn the lights on at the park for the first time, those 4th of July displays, those when you're looking around and you're seeing your entire community looking around, and it's every socioeconomic, it's every demographic out there, and everybody's together enjoying themselves. It really brings people together. That's my why.
Bill, what would you say is the most important skill for people who own a service business today? If you give people in the service industry some advice based on the travels and journey that you've taken, what are some of the things they should avoid, or what are some of the things they should embrace? Can you tell us some of the skills that they would need to
Yeah. First of all, if you're the owner and you're out there doing it, give yourself some grace. You're not going to be perfect, and that's okay. We learn more in our mistakes and how we recover from those mistakes than we do from our successes. And the biggest skill to have is empathy to your team, empathy to the people you work with every day, empathy to your clients. Understand what the true motivation is. Why do they show up every day? Why does your team show up every day? Why did your customers find you? And why are they looking for the service that you help them with? How can you help them better their lives, not how are they going to help you better yours? And it's really looking at it that way.
Is that the same kind of advice you would give to your younger self? If you were giving, if you looked at Bill Frey when he was like 19, 20 years old, what advice would you go back and give yourself if you could go back in the time machine and do that?
You know what you're doing. Just keep going. Trust yourself. You're going to make mistakes, and be okay jumping at 80%. It doesn't have to be perfect. Get it out there, make the mistakes, learn from it, grow. Don't try to be perfect is the biggest thing. There's a lot of times I held myself back trying to be perfect, trying to have the precise message out there, have the precise thing. But if you get at 80% and start building your parachute on the way down, you'll be successful. You'll figure out a lot about yourself and take those risks.
Well, I can see right now that illuminating design isn't just illuminating the outdoor house or property of a commercial property, but also illuminating what good service looks like in that industry. And definitely, I think anybody who would be fortunate enough to be part of this, I think would get that moment that you get, that smile on their face. For me, I've been a consumer of outdoor lighting on 4 different properties I've had. And every time I do it, there is that moment. I can remember the moment that I first saw the design come to life in the backyard of each one of those. In the front yard too, we had like museum lighting on our house and a couple of them, and it's like, man, this is like totally worth it, because there's an emotional component you get to it. I mean, it's not logical, but it's more emotional, and it is some security and safety and things like that too. But I think it's something that just makes you feel good, and there's so few things in life that unconditionally make you feel good. And definitely, I feel good about having you on the show, Bill. So thanks so much for being here. I appreciate that.
Joe, thank you so much for your time. It's been a blast.
Well, Bill, where can listeners connect with you or learn more about working or being one of your clients? How can they do that?
Yeah, the easiest way to find us online is idatlanta.com, or you can just call us at 404-454-8944.
Well, that was another great conversation with Bill Frey, who owns Illuminating Design in Atlanta, Georgia. We really appreciate having you on the show, Bill. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Take care now.